How do you find your calling? This is a a great question because it's something which I have been thinking about for years. Years and years and years I've thought about this. How do you actually find your calling? Um, I don't know. It's kind of a tough one to really answer because a lot of people say like, oh, I'm called to be a worship leader, or I'm called to be a preacher, or I'm called to be a business guy. And I just say I think we're all just called to worship God and make an impact on this world. Now, obviously there is like the fivefold ministry, which are callings, prophet, pastor, teacher, apostle, and so on. But I think obviously there are giftings and there are talents. Like if when Jesus is telling the story about the master and his three servants, and he gave to one, he gave 5 talents, to the other one, he gave, I think it was 2 talents, and the last one, he gave 1 talent, and they came back and they multiplied it. So it doesn't say that he gave them, 5 different callings or whatever, because their calling was to take what the master had given them and to multiply it. Take the talents that the master had given him and to multiply it. So, when it comes to the whole idea of calling, I think sometimes we overcomplicate it a little bit, and we kind of make it seem like it's this incredible, amazing thing. But you know what? And it is an incredible, amazing thing because it's the reason why you're on this planet. But don't get me wrong. But I think sometimes we need to look more at, okay, the calling on our lives is not just to be a worship leader. It's not just to be a preacher. It's to live a life that makes an impact and multiply the things that God has given us. Yeah. So if you have a talent with singing, yeah, and you want to be a worship leader, your calling may not necessarily be worship leading, but your calling may be, to make an impact through music. And so developing that talent, yeah, or developing and then growing that into something else. So maybe it might mean like, okay, you're a great singer, but now you need to learn how to write songs. That's multiplying that talent, or learn how to play an instrument so that you can write an accompaniment to music, to your songs or whatever. And so that's how I see it. And so I often think to myself, like, you don't find your calling, you step into your calling, because God has given you these talents and these gifts, and you just need to step into that and just make a decision like, okay, I'm going to use these things, I'm going to multiply them, and I'm going to do the best that I can to make an impact with what he has given me. So like the first guy, he took 5 and he multiplied it, and he had 10 talents at the end, and he came back to the master and was like, hey man, check out these things that I got. Look what I did with what you gave me. And the master was super happy. He didn't just sit down there like the last guy. The last dude, he got his 1 talent. He, buried it and did absolutely nothing with it. And so in the end, the master wasn't happy with him because he had just basically blown the talent or the gift that God had given him. And everyone's got different gifts and different talents, You can't look at a worship leader and be like, oh man, they're so much greater than what I am because they can sing and they're on a stage. It doesn't matter if they can sing or if they're on a stage. You can make the exact same impact that they could make, yeah, but just in a different sphere of life. So I honestly just think, man, don't focus on the title of what a calling is. Focus on the impact that you can make. Maybe your impact is like, maybe, if you're working in a kindergarten and God, you really have a passion for kids. Yeah, and you love it. It's like it's an absolute passion for you. Your heart burns for it, man. That is your area. My pastor, Young Collar, he says it like this. He's like, that's your arena where you can step into and, you can play the game, not be a spectator, not be out in the chairs and just like looking from outside in, but you can actually be in the arena, play the game, and make an impact in it, So you're not a spectator, you're a participator in it. And I love that. I love that thought, that idea, because it's so true. And you know what? Every single person has a calling. Every one of us has a reason for being here on earth. But I don't think it's so specific to say like, oh, your one thing that you are here on this planet to do is just to be a preacher, is just to be a businessman, is just to be a worship leader. I don't think it's that. It's like in my case, people say, oh man, you're called to be a rapper. No, I'm not called to be a rapper. I am using that because that is a gift and a talent that I have. But I am called to make an impact on this world, and I'm going to use the gifts and talents like rapping or like fitness stuff that I do to reach out to people and use it just to make an impact on their lives. So don't focus so much on the single thing, but focus on, you know, the whole picture. Like, hey, God has put me on this planet to leave a legacy and to make an impact.